You know, this brought up an interesting question for me, which I talked to a friend about a couple days ago, which is, are we evolving as people? And I don't mean in the sense of scientific evolution, but I mean as a society. Okay? And what I mean is this. We now have these cell phones. Everybody has the cell phones. They're always nearby. You've got your email. You're in constant contact with people. There's this increased kind of ADD culture. Technology is also starting to affect society. It's starting to affect interactions with people in a more and more significant way. I was thinking 10,000 years ago, I know the earth didn't exist if you have a literal interpretation of the Bible, but humor me for a second. Let's assume it did. 10,000 years ago, was anxiety as prevalent of a problem as it is today? Or is having trouble sleeping, was that really a problem 10,000 years ago? I don't think so. I think then people were worried about surviving. Where's your next meal going to come from? And by the way, we have no way of storing food. I guess, there were some. You could cover it in salt and cure meats. But it's different problems that exist now which weren't part of society before. So my question is, what's the next step? Are we still in an evolution phase, or are we starting to go into what some might call a devolution phase? I don't know. It's an interesting question to think about.
Yeah, I mean...
And this, by the way, comes from our last conversation about will politics and religion slow down technological advance? The next question for today is, will technological advance affect the progress of society? And it's very subjective. It depends what you consider progress.
Mm-hmm. Certainly life is a lot more complicated now.
Well, the question is, what are we aiming for, right? In other words, what is the next step in terms of society?
Are things going to get less complicated?
Is the goal a situation where everything is taken care of by machines and no one needs to work, needs are taken care of, and therefore people can focus on philosophy, literature, and entertainment, and is that the direction? Is the direction that we want to? I don't know. It really opens up a lot of doors. What do you think about this, Natan? I'm sure you have something to chime in with.
I don't know. It's kind of what's the specific question?
Well, the question is society still progressing, evolving in a forward-looking way, or are some of the directions things are going the way countries are going to war, the effect of technology on and television and media on attention spans? Are these things that are going to slow down evolution, progress of society?
Well, it's like a push and pull. I mean, we're advancing in many ways technologically. Of course, is huge, and that affects everything. But at the same time, as we advance weapons, let's say, if there's some type of huge war, that could set us back. So, I don't know. It's like impossible to say.
Taking a very literal interpretation, but I was going at it a little bit more abstractly, I think I would say. Anyway, please send me your thoughts on this. David@davidpakman.com. What should be the goal for society in the next 200 years? It's very easy to say in the next 10 years because we have so many individual specific problems, but more 200, 300 years. I mean, what is the goal? It's not so clear to me anymore. It's not at a point where the goal
It seems like the goal is always just to make things easier.
Okay. Well, there's
right?
Lewis's thought. No, it's an interesting question.